We're going to be scalping the NASDAQ on the 1 second chart today using our buy signals, our uptrend signals, and our Illuma trend. Now you see it, now you don't. All you can see now is what the price action did, but we're looking at the futures and we're also on that 1 second chart. So we should get some action here. We have our DOM up, we're connected with Tradevate as our broker, and we have divergent indexes. The SP and the NAS are up, the Dow's down, but we're still flat for the day. Ultra speculatives look like they're up for the day. Bitcoin, Ethereum, that type of thing. FANG stocks a little bit mixed. So we're going to wait for a signal and see what we can't do here. And we will keep the market view up because we are so close to going either positive or negative, and we're going to just be buying at market using our uptrend and downtrend signals and then taking either scalps or waiting for a reverse signal. So if we have an uptrend signal, we will take a downtrend signal or potentially a sell potential trend reversal as a stop or a close. We can also reset the chart view here, and you can see that we had this buy signal with a little bit of this ripper. We had this downtrend, and then bang, just that thing just ripped to the upside like crazy, right? So we have some buyers coming in now. We're still playing off this uptrend, and we're waiting for a little bit of confirmation on the upside. If we get a little bit more of a pullback here, we might be able to enter this trade before we get another signal, but we're not going to chase the market around. We are just going to wait for whatever signal comes, and we can see a little bit more the later it gets into the day about what the market's actually doing. So let's go ahead and just make sure our chart view is ready to roll for our trading today. And you can see a little bit better of a view here where we had just a massive ripper of a downtrend signal followed by a total opposite, a ripper to the upside. So we're getting some of these consolidating sell signals, but nothing crazy as far as downtrend is concerned. There's a little bit of a dump there, and that looks like enough to convince me to buy. So let's go ahead and get in. We're going to wait and see if that downtrend goes away. If it holds, we'll just go ahead and reverse the trade. And we'll go ahead and reverse the trade. All right, so we just pretty much made up for what we lost there. We're just going to cruise on this trade. Looks like it's selling off pretty good. 80, 75, 60. On these types of trades, when we see any type of buying potential, we're probably going to close the trade, but we're going to wait and see. And you can watch me trade, so we're going to do it like that. And you can see we're skewed bullish to the upside, so we can see potential trend reversal might be a good dip point. And we have an uptrend signal, so that's a clarification, confirmation for us. And we're going to wait for either a sell signal, downtrend signal, whatever we get. Looks like we have some pretty sick moves to the upside. We're just going to hold tight, no big deal. And we can see that the NASDAQ is creeping a little bit to the north. And let's see if she wants to break all the way out of this range. Probably retest, but we don't know what's going to happen. It's still early in the day, up to 150. And we'll go ahead and just probably for a trade that's in the green like this, we're going to wait for a potential sell, and then we will probably just reverse the trade. Looks like we're just breaking out of that zone. Let's see if we don't get a sell here shortly. And all we're doing is just using Happy Trader signals to figure out what we're going to do. And you can set your rules to be, we backtest from signal to signal just to show viability, but I recommend that you try your own system and use Happy Trader as a guide or a confirmation. We had a little bit of a reverse there. We're just going to close that out. See if we reverse back out. Looks like dip buyers are in the building. And we have our buy, so we're just going to continue on that move. And wait for, let's see, this thing looks like it's going to run for a little bit. And we're just waiting to see what happens with the market at this point. Just giving you a narration. We saw a little sell signal there, so I did reverse. Let's see if we get a dump. If we get another buy, we're just going to reverse. And then remember, if we get our uptrend and downtrend signals, that's going to be our cue. these potential buy and sells are good, but you really need those follow through signals to get that extra little jolt. And even then, for instance, we got this uptrend and then this downtrend just now. That puts us into a little bit of a pickle where we might just want to flatten out the trade. So that's what we're going to do there at a $5. You see how we're getting uptrend and downtrend on the 1 second chart. It's a little less convoluted if you go out to the 10-second chart. You can see simply that we're just on a uptrend. So we're going to go ahead and switch back to the 1 second and wait for it to stop being confused. And you can see it's just oscillating. The market really doesn't know what it wants to do because it's about to go positive on the Dow from what I'm seeing. And then if we have our 1 second chart, we can see there's a breakout to the upside. And we can go ahead and probably, looks like we're probably going positive here. We have a sell signal. Sell signal, that would have been a closeout. You can see people do close out when our sell signals hit. And that's not because of our sell signals, it's just because of the way the cookie kind of crumbles with the market. So we had a potential buy here. That's not enough for me to get on board. I need to see it. We're still hanging around our original entry there where we had all these signals colliding. So we're waiting for the market to resolve in a direction. And that's going to be what we do for this particular trade. And I'll show you how we handled this particular type of scenario. And we're just going to wait for a bona fide uptrend signal if we do have one here off of this buy. We're waiting for that. And if we get it, we will enter the trade and see how that transpires for us. And then again, if we see any type of selling pressure, we will go ahead and just reverse that trade. And if you want to keep the craziness out of the market, you can just flatten the chart out, make everything look way smaller. But I like to rescale the chart as we go along, and we're still just riding this uptrend. We have a little flattening, weakening of the sell signal there. Looks like it's creeping up. And we'll see if we either get a dump or it'll break out to the upside again. Downtrend signals, from what I'm seeing, we have all three indexes about to go positive. Let's see if the Dow doesn't go positive here. And we would just be looking for a downtrend signal at this point. We're not going to short the market because we have 2 out of 3 indexes up. We're going to wait and see what this downtrend does. Let's go ahead and reset the chart view. We have a flattening Illuma trend there. So really weak to the downside. Looks like dip buyers are controlling things. You can see the Illuma trend's a little choppier and more angular. So a little bit, this selling is happening right now. There's no doubt about it. But it looks like it's just a consolidation to me. And sometimes if the market just gets a little too convoluted, or if you get too much flattening on the downtrend signal, sell signal, and you have 2 out of 3 indexes up, you have Bitcoin kind of up, it still shows a little bit of a bullish bias. We're going to go ahead and just take we're going to leg into a trade here. I wasn't super convinced with that downtrend signal because it was so flat on the Illuma trend. And I'm going to show you another technique if we take a drawdown here, because we're not using, we notice we took a huge drawdown because we did not take our own signal, but I'm going to show you what we're doing here. So we're going to reset the chart view. And we're going to hold the trade and wait. If we break down below a certain level, we're going to add 2 more contracts. That's dollar cost averaging as far as futures. We had an uptrend signal off that potential buy. So you can take a trade off of a potential buy as long as you're willing to DCA. If the NQ is too big of a size for you, you can always go to the MNQ, which is 1/10 the size. So you could put on like once, it would be like you'd be up $1.50, $1.10, $2, $4.50 instead of $45.65, etc. So we are going to just wait for weakness, which we would see in the form of sell. So if we have green on the board and then we get a sell signal, we're going to go ahead and flatten that trade out, wait for another signal. Index still looks to be, we'll just flatten that out. We'll take a $45 scalp. Still looks like the pressures to the buy side, waiting for the Dow to confirm long. We have a sell signal with a flattening Illuma trend, a little bit of a dump off there. Still working off this uptrend signal. We have the buy and just a nice little consolidation period. Let's see what this downtrend is made of with 2 indexes out of 3. And then we have our Dow Jones Industrial Average sitting at just pretty much flat. To me, it looks like it wants to go positive. And then, but you never know with these earlier in the day type of trades, it can go really any which way. Depends on if, like, if we have big players in the big FANG stocks dumping stock today, that could be something. If we have institutions rebalancing, that can be another reason why we might sell. So that's why when things are looking skewed to the bullish side and I get a downtrend signal, it doesn't automatically mean I'm going to short the market, especially when everything that's selling is just flattening out forever on our Illuma trend, where we are getting some flats out on the uptrend signals, but overall they have a little more amplitude to them. And we'll see if we don't get a double bottom here. That's going to be the next thing. If it just breaks right through this bottom, then that thesis goes out the door a little bit. But this is a nice ripper to the downside. If you did take the short trade and you're willing to take, if you take the trade, let's say on this bar, and then you're willing to take, your risk management's allowing you to put a stop maybe up here, where you're selling a call vertical spread, something like that, you might do well. But let's see if we can't get another trade here, potentially to the upside, but we want to see if that breaks down, and it does look like it is. We can go out. We had a potential buy signal. Let's go ahead and take that. That looked like a major value area low to me. We have an uptrend signal that popped up immediately. We're going to let that consolidate out for a second and see what happens. We have just the NAS is creeping up a little bit. $65 trade, 50. Looks like market's unsure of direction. And there's the dip buyers coming in. We're going to go ahead and take a $70 scalp there. And that's just going to be today's demo. A lot of times these trades will continue to run, but you can see we were using a lot of common sense there. We were looking at the indices, we were looking at the signals, and we were using potential trend reversals as stops if we were already in the green. So that's today's scalping video. My name's Ryan, CEO and head quant here at Happy Trader. You can get Happy Trader, learn more about it at happytrader.io. Have a great day and happy trading.